how did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their source.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time.
Diddy sent those to 50?
Diddy's like funeral flowers.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt. My favorite villain? I kind of like Diddy.
There are no misconceptions about it.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
Jay's definitely.
Jay helped you?
Yeah.
How did you
As a
help?
competitor.
Explain it.
Yeah, because he never was someone that you communicate with that you're like friends with the person. But I always respected him because he was never an actual competitor in actual fact. He was someone who was a competitor to perception.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z.
And B was, one time she jumped off of the ledge. She ain't running over because she thought me and Jay had issues, and I was like, what the? And I was like, did she really just jump down and run over here like that?
Beyonce jumped off a ledge.
Yeah, what happened? It was in the Cosmopolitan, huh?
She really a superhero.
She jumped down and no, she was like, this what? Like that Bonnie and Clyde for real? You try this or what, boy? I'm here.
Word.
She looked at me. I said,
Was Solange with her?
She looked at me like that. I was like, what?
A new storm is brewing, one that weaves together old rumors, recent scandals, and allegations many thought were long buried. At the center stands 50 Cent, a man who has spent the past 2 decades calling out figures he believes are untouchable in the entertainment industry. One name consistently in his sights has been Sean Diddy Combs. But now, 50 is signaling that the story doesn't end with a single mogul. According to his latest statements, the next wave of scrutiny could reach beyond Diddy, toward Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and even Oprah Winfrey, 3 of the most influential figures in modern entertainment. Names long whispered about in speculation, but rarely confronted directly. The spark ignited when 50 hinted he possesses unseen footage tied to the same inner circle recently at the center of the Diddy controversy, teasing that the documentary on Combs was only the opening chapter. Then came the words that set social media ablaze, "You're next." Fans immediately connected the dots, assuming the message targeted Jay-Z and Beyoncé, and questions followed. Why them? Why now? And why immediately after the Diddy documentary? Industry insiders point to a tightly knit elite circle, one long protected by wealth, influence, and carefully maintained alliances. Viewers of the Netflix documentary on Diddy noticed how deeply Jay-Z and Diddy's professional and social worlds overlapped for decades, from business ventures to private events and exclusive industry spaces. Beyoncé moved through many of the same circles, from Rock Nation events to Grammy after-parties and high-level gatherings. The same names appeared repeatedly, forming a web of proximity, power, and influence. Now, 50 Cent is signaling that proximity alone may no longer guarantee protection. Past footage, long-forgotten claims, and hidden stories are being revisited under a sharper light, and if his hints prove accurate,
this may only be the beginning.
Just be the beginning.
These were private conversations, and that he and Diddy could talk openly, and Mark could talk to Diddy not just as a client, but as a person, and try to guide him in a time leading up to his arrest. And unbeknownst to Mark Agnifilo, Diddy has got this guy recording the conversation as he's sitting there saying, "You are screwing this up. You are messing up this case. We're losing." And knowing that that's on tape, and it's almost like he's performing for the camera and not telling Mark what's going on. And the really enraging part about it is that Mark Agnifilo won this case for Diddy with legal strategy. It wasn't just an accident that this jury that had heard all of this in the news before the trial voted not guilty on all the serious charges. It was Mark Agnifilo that did that. Yet Diddy secretly records this guy and embarrasses him. And yeah, you could say, well, Diddy never expected that it would end up being broadcast somewhere else. Well, okay, but Diddy was planning on using it, or he wouldn't have had it recorded in the first place. So it's just really, really unfair. And I know that in a way this sounds crazy, that I'm getting so upset about Diddy, and yet there's video of Diddy beating Cassie. Well, that's horrendous, but that doesn't mean you can't look at something else as well. And I just think, as a lawyer, I just think this is just so outrageous that he would do something like this, and not even understanding what Agnifalo's legal theory was. Because I will tell you that when we did our first documentary on Diddy, which was 8 months before the trial, Mark Agnifalo said to me on camera that he is going to tell this jury that this was a successful black man that prosecutors were trying to take down because they couldn't get into his bank accounts because they were clean, and he couldn't deal with they couldn't deal with taxes because he wasn't committing tax fraud. So they go into his bedroom. And that's what Mark Agnifalo said 8 months before. And he goes into the trial and he essentially wins that argument. Whether you believe it or not, a jury that sat through the whole thing, they believed it, and ultimately they convicted him on this BS Mann Act thing. So Diddy won that case. And one of the reasons he won the case is something that Agnifalo got criticized for. That when he did the documentary with me, he was making a joke about the baby oil. Remember, he said, oh, well, I didn't know he bought in bulk. He must have bought 1,000 bottles at Costco. And a lot of people just slammed him for that and said, how dare you? You're being disrespectful. The baby oil is the smoking gun in this case. Agnifalo knew all along that the baby oil was Diddy's best defense. Because when Agnifalo got before that jury in closing arguments, he looked at them and he said, well, the feds came in with their armor and artillery and guns. And what did they do? They got 1,000 bottles of baby oil off the streets. Ooh, he said, the streets are safer now. And the jury laughed. And that laugh told Agnifalo he should keep going on that. And that the trial itself was absurd because the baby oil was really the punchline.
Over the years, Jay-Z steadily moved within some of the most powerful circles in entertainment, rubbing shoulders with Sean Diddy Combs, Oprah Winfrey, and top executives across media and corporate networks. Whenever 50 Cent sensed that something was being quietly protected or overlooked, he responded in the way he knows best, with biting sarcasm, public jabs, and perfectly timed social media posts. But this time, it felt different. For the first time, 50 directly called out Jay-Z, hinting that he might possess footage or material that could directly impact the Carters. Fans immediately noticed the shift, because when 50 talks about documents, recordings, or insider information, he rarely bluffs. That credibility is exactly why Jay-Z and Beyoncé suddenly became the center of a firestorm of online speculation, and that's where Oprah Winfrey's name entered the conversation. Many began asking why she was now being mentioned alongside Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and figures connected to Diddy. The answer lies partly in resurfaced criticisms and partly in 50 Cent's long history of publicly challenging her. Over the years, he has accused Oprah of selectively using her platform, scrutinizing certain figures, particularly black entertainers, while allegedly sidestepping deeper examination of powerful white executives during the height of the #MeToo era. He has repeatedly contrasted her involvement in documentaries about R. Kelly with her past association with Harvey Weinstein. On a more personal note, 50 has never hidden that Oprah once declined to interview him, an omission he has publicly called out multiple times. To his supporters, that history explains why her name is now part of the larger discussion, and why many believe this situation could expand far beyond a single individual.
Set his sights on someone new after the Diddy Netflix documentary. If you aren't aware, 50 Cent has been getting insane feedback from the Netflix documentary he made on Diddy. Sean Combs' The Reckoning is what it's called, and it's #1 all over Netflix, beating even Stranger Things. Diddy himself has responded to it, saying the stories are false, of course, denying everything, and even trying to do a cease and desist on the Netflix documentary. And after this Diddy documentary, a lot of people have been wondering who's the next person that deserves to get exposed. And Jay-Z is the one that a lot of people are pointing their finger at. And the reason why Jay-Z's been getting a lot of this type of backlash is because Jay-Z was really close to Diddy. At one point, Diddy was even calling him his brother, and that Jay-Z's the only one that can call him his real name, Sean. That maybe there's something on Jay-Z's side that has been going on behind the scenes. Now, there hasn't been any solid proof yet, but Nicki Minaj has been going at Jay-Z for quite some time, talking about Jay-Z is manipulative and he steals, and he's been pushing a narrative, and that Roc Nation has control and power over a lot of things. And I can kind of understand where she's coming from to a certain extent. We got to remember when Jay-Z went up on the Grammy stage and said Beyonce never won Album of the Year and complained about that, literally the following year, Beyonce wins Album of the Year, which is just something like that doesn't show you that there is some power going on there, that there is something behind the scenes that Jay-Z controls. It's clear as day that it's all politics on who wins Grammys, you know, who gets the better light and things. So that kind of opened my eyes, you know, as to Roc Nation's power and how they manipulate things in the media. I'll never forget Jay-Z would get this like special treatment all the time when it comes to the media. I mean, Hot 97, when they interviewed Jay-Z, they literally rolled out a red carpet. They never did that for any other artist. So Jay-Z's always had this kind of special treatment when it came to things. But now the question is Jay-Z involved in crazier things? I mean, there's been a lot of speculation in a lot of different ways, and people are pointing their attention towards 50 Cent wanting him to do a Jay-Z documentary. And it looks like he might actually do it, because on Instagram he posted a drawing of Jay-Z that kind of makes fun of his looks, and he posted that photo and he said this in the caption: "Please stop sending me stuff like this. I'm not gonna post it." Basically making a joke, you know, because obviously he posted it on his social media. But, and here's the interesting but in this, is someone commented on the post, and the comment got liked by 50 Cent. And this is the comment. It's from Dom KMDA. I hope I pronounced that right, Dom Kanada. He commented saying, "My only question, he's next, isn't he?" And 50 ended up liking that comment. And here's the thing. I actually saw this on Twitter and X, you know, whatever, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to confirm, is this real? Because a lot of people Photoshop these type of things just to create drama and create this speculation. So I actually DM'd the guy himself, and I showed him the photo, and I asked him, "Hey, is this a real photo? Did 50 like your comment?" He said, "Hey, yes, he did." And I was like, perfect, thank you for confirming. Thought it was Photoshopped. I will appreciate the response. And he said, "I was surprised as well. Didn't see that coming." So shout out to him for, you know, responding to my DM and confirming that, you know, the comment actually got liked by 50, because, you know, a lot of people Photoshop and spread narratives. So me being the proper journalist, or whatever you want to call me, news reporter, I, you know, wanted to go get to the source and see if it was actually real. There is also something that's very interesting that went over a lot of people's heads, and that's the documentary coming out on December 2nd. That Diddy documentary coming out on that date. Literally 2 days later, you have Jay-Z's birthday, December 4th, which to me sends a subliminal message to Jay-Z that you're next. So that's crazy. That just, to me, you know, shows that 50 is potentially gonna work on something going at Jay-Z, and he might get Nicki Minaj involved, because Nicki Minaj has a huge issue with Jay-Z with a lot of things, and I don't even know the full details of that, because she's gone at Jay-Z for
as the years passed with that whole crew. And now everyone is asking the same question: how is this going to play out? How is the public supposed to react? Are they really going to let him just walk back and like nothing happened? The public already made its decision. They're canceling him, but has the industry canceled him? That's the real question. All those people who attended those Diddy parties, not one has stepped forward to clearly denounce what he's allegedly done. Not one. I haven't heard a single strong condemnation. Instead, it's always, let God handle it. Let God handle it? Come on. If it were your daughter, would you just shrug and say, let God handle it? No one is coming forward. And they can't openly defend him either, because that would damage their brand, their image. So they stay quiet. Then you hear things like, Jay-Z is the only one who can call me Sean. I'm the only one who can call him Sean. What does that even mean? That's not loyalty, that's image management. At the end of the day, not one major figure has publicly and clearly condemned the accusations. Not one. And that silence? That's
one
exactly
individual.
what people are noticing.
Epstein, he was running with that whole crew. They want to know how we're going to do it, how the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him. I don't believe the industry has canceled him yet. All those people who went to those Diddy parties, not one of them had came out and denounced what he has done. I haven't heard one of them. I have not heard one person denounce. Well, man, let God handle it. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here with that. If that was your daughter, would you let God handle it? All those people, they ain't denounced him. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, yo, I support him. Because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. Jay-Z, we the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff. But you ain't had not one person, brother, not one person sit there, denounce what he did, or come forward.
But the story goes even deeper. Over the years, criticisms have resurfaced about how Oprah Winfrey has interacted with certain black entertainers. Ludacris claimed his interviews were edited and that he was lectured about rap music while promoting a film. Dave Chappelle later suggested that during his interview, Oprah framed his struggles as paranoia, rather than recognizing the immense pressure he was under at the time. Monique publicly accused Oprah of contributing to her blacklisting after Precious, while Taraji P. Henson spoke about being significantly underpaid for her role in The Color Purple. 50 Cent has openly supported these grievances, arguing that a clear pattern emerges in how accountability is applied, or ignored, within the industry. Then there were controversies surrounding the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. Incidents reported in 2007 and 2011 drew heavy media scrutiny, and in recent years, online conspiracy theories attempted to link Oprah to missing children and secret locations, claims that have been widely debunked. Yet lingering speculation continues to cast a shadow across corners of the internet now, with 50 Cent already targeting one powerful mogul through a widely viewed documentary. Some fans believe Oprah could face renewed scrutiny, especially after 50 hinted that future revelations may involve figures no one expects to. In Hollywood, connections rarely exist in isolation. Over the years, the paths of Oprah, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Diddy have repeatedly crossed. Oprah has interviewed Beyoncé multiple times, praising her career and cultural impact. She has publicly supported Jay-Z's projects, while Beyoncé has participated in charity events tied to Oprah's network. Jay-Z himself has appeared at events affiliated with Oprah individually. These moments might seem routine in a tightly knit industry. But when viewed together, repeated overlaps spark renewed curiosity, particularly as past alliances are now being re-examined under the light of ongoing controversies.
Why Beyonce didn't want to speak and does not speak to Brandy. And the truth of the matter is, there she go back there with Monica and Kelly, and there go Patti LaBelle, and then there goes Solange, all right? And there's a reason why Solange is around as well. Because if you guys don't know, for a while, Solange and Beyonce actually were not on speaking terms, but they're back talking now, they're back cool, and basically Solange is around to keep Beyonce spiritually protected. Solange is the spiritual protector of that family. Don't get it twisted. Mama Tina is powerful. Solange is the most powerful list. You better ask some damn body. All right. Now, The reason why Beyonce ain't came to speak to Brandy, baby, is because Beyonce does not talk to anyone who used to sleep with Jay-Z, okay? Whether you guys know it or not, and I have to say allegedly, right? Jay-Z and Brandy used to talk back in the day. And by back in the day, I mean like late 90s type stuff, right? Brandy always kept Jay-Z on the low back in the day because, quite honestly, he was too ugly to be out in public with. I'm just keeping it real. To claim him publicly, he was too ugly back in the day. Now, when you try to search up pictures of Jay-Z and Brandy, you will find... Hold up, let me see. Hold up. Let me see, because I thought I had a picture of them two, Brandy and Jay-Z. Now, this would have been from... let's see, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Brandy and Jay-Z. Okay, there we go. Now, this picture of them was in 2002. All right, and this was, I think, was at one of her album release parties, if I'm not mistaken. This was a year after Moesha Rap, because Moesha went off air in 2001. Yes, he was dealing with Beyonce at the time as well, and Blue Cantrell. He was, let me tell you, Jay-Z was laying it low and spreading it wide. Jay-Z was one of those dudes in the industry that, you know, you messed around with. He piped you down, but before he was really him, you did not claim him publicly because he was just simply too ugly. It was what it was. But Jay-Z was in love with Brandy then. He's not in love with her now, but he still has love and feelings towards her. He's one of those people that feels like once he done had you and once he done loved you, he always feels like he has like possession over you. Jay-Z is one of those kind of men, baby. I don't know if they told you. Jay-Z is extremely jealous, extremely controlling, and extremely possessive. That's another reason why. Hold up. Where'd the picture go? Wait a minute. Where'd the picture go? That's another reason why Beyonce up here. Wait. Anyway, y'all get the point. That's another reason why Beyonce, over the years, a lot of the music that she's made, it's always been with him. A lot of the remixes, it's always been with him or somebody that he approves of her to work with, okay? Jay-Z was so damn controlling, he didn't even want her father, talking about Matthew Knowles now, he didn't want her father managing her anymore, and he stepped in. And if y'all notice, when Jay-Z stepped in as Beyonce's manager, the music changed, everything changed, and the money started to get effed up. But that's another story for another day. We're not getting on that right now. We sticking with Brandy and Jay-Z right now. So they started messing around on the low in the 90s. Even to the early 2000s, they were still messing around. I'm not exactly sure which year the relationship officially ended, but just know that Jay-Z was just basically good for... That was what he gave. He gave big... I don't know no other way to put it, but he was like... For the ladies that's watching, you know, like, if you ever dealt with like a tall, ugly with big pipe, you went to him to get piped down, but you would not like ever like claim him like that because he was just super ugly. It was what it was. And before he really blew up, didn't nobody want to be seen with him like that. It is what it is. And quite frankly, Jay-Z dated a lot of your favorite female stars from back in the day, but they would not.
Diddy and Jay-Z shared a deep professional connection. Over the years, they've collaborated on music, appeared together at high-profile events, and moved within the same elite luxury and business circles. Whenever discussions arise about the so-called inner circle around Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé are inevitably mentioned, not because they've been accused of wrongdoing, but because of proximity. The same rooms, the same award shows, the same private investment meetings, the same exclusive after-parties. The same hidden layers of Hollywood-influenced in an industry where relationships and access define power, simply being close to it can draw intense scrutiny. And as past alliances are revisited, many fans now believe that figures once considered untouchable may be facing a far brighter spotlight than ever
when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, listen. If you look at his career,
Wow. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
He didn't show up.
He has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he's been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong. At the same time,
He got some shit. He's like drinking. His pictures with him. He thinks the cup.
wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't see.
Nah, he deserved those.
I'm sitting there, it's like this, like Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch.
Oh,
Like,
I hate you, man.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yeah. Come on, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy. He just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation prayer. Like, is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh wow! So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
Oh, yeah, before I forget this, we talked about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy a lot.
That was a real suburb question.
Yeah, I know, right?
Proximity.
Hold on. Proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word. I had to learn that.
Do you think you knew all of the shit that was going on? Then I was like
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it,
like I said,
no matter how you answer that, you snitching.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a nice kind of
You asked the question like a fan.
hey, I grew up with white people, but one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
But it's a great question. Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro.
He said, damn, they wasn't even drinking.
Speaking of, how the hell you pronounce
Lechimendois.
Okay.
It's the King's Path.
King's Path.
Oh,
because I know Branson.
Yeah.
That's the one I pronounce.
That's the Branson lifestyle. You're gonna be outside.
You're not worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way. Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up.
I don't have that in my past.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like,
I took.
Not that it's real enough.
I took a pill, but it was for me to perform better. For her to remember, buddy. I didn't give her a drink so she forget what the.
This is why 50 Cent's warning hits differently. According to his supporters, it isn't idle gossip, it's a map of long-standing connections. In this web, Oprah's past controversies, Diddy's legal troubles, Jay-Z's silence, and Beyoncé's carefully managed image aren't isolated stories, they're overlapping threads in the same powerful network. 50 has made one thing clear: Hollywood's elite no longer intimidate him. While many assumed his documentary would target only Diddy, the ripple effect is far broader. Anyone who worked with Diddy, attended his events, collaborated on projects, or moved within similar circles is now facing intense public curiosity, not because they've been accused, but simply due to proximity. When 50 hinted that more documentaries could be coming, the online reaction exploded. His reputation for digging deep and confronting the untouchable keeps fans glued. Behind the scenes, public figures are reportedly distancing themselves, old photos vanish, statements are clarified, appearances shift. Whether strategic or coincidental, these moves only fuel more debate and the questions grow louder. Who knew what? Who noticed the warning signs? And who chose to stay silent? The documentary portrays Diddy as someone whose alleged controversial behavior spanned years. Some celebrities have admitted they now recognize red flags in hindsight. That has intensified public scrutiny, not as proof of wrongdoing, but as curiosity about the inner workings of power. As long as 50 continues to pull at these threads, supporters believe more high-profile names could face uncomfortable questions, fairly or unfairly, as the spotlight grows ever brighter.
The 50 Cent Diddy doc. First and foremost, we've been talking about this thing, Jack, for going on 2 years now, and once again, thank you for even being, I guess you could say, a beacon during this whole conversation, as far as kind of spreading light on a lot of things that go down in the industry that, you know, the normal person may not even see or hear about that happens in the day-to-day. Did you really think 50 Cent, when he first mentioned it, that there was an actual documentary being worked on?
Well, see, this is the thing. I can believe that it was happening. At what purpose? See, and that's the thing. Like, my opinion about all of this stuff is so much different than your average person's, and my outlook is so much different than your average person's. Did I believe that it was possible? Absolutely. Why wouldn't he be able to do a documentary? Why wouldn't he be able to bring in Alexandria to come and put this together? Like, the woman who directed this, she doesn't even seem to have a background in hip hop at all.
That makes sense.
So it's like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. I mean, for crying out loud, Diddy sent him freak off videos.
True. Very true.
Interviews
Very true.
about it.
Did you feel that just 50 Cent's name being attached to it again? These are two, as everyone knows, the three names in hip hop are Jay-Z, Diddy, 50 Cent when it comes to the status of where you could get as a business or a brand.
I guess
so. For the top three individuals, for one to go at the other and release this doc, I don't know, what does that say to again, I keep asking about the hip hop state of things. What does that say to hip hop? Like, are we our own downfall? I guess I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It all depends on what you consider hip hop. Like, I don't consider any of this debauchery, any of this animalistic crap. I don't consider any of this hip hop. I grew up in hip hop. You know, I know what hip hop culture is, and it's none of this stuff that people are selling.
I mean, when did it stop being hip hop? We're gonna go through the documentary itself, but when did it stop
being hip hop? When it became corporatized. It stopped being hip hop when certain groups of people saw that they could use it to influence the mass public. When people saw how influential hip hop was, it became very clear. Once upon a time, not long ago, where people wore pajamas and lived life you know, the laws were stern and justice stood, and people were behaving like they ought to good. There lived a little boy, and he was misled by another little boy, and this is what he said: "Me and you, can we go make some cash, robbing old folks and making a dash?"
Come on.
Like, they did the job and money came with ease, but one couldn't stop us like he had a disease. He robbed another and another and a sister and a brother. Tried to rob a man who was a...
Jay-Z has attended high-profile parties. Beyoncé has appeared at events tied to similar networks. Oprah has publicly praised figures who are now under scrutiny. None of this suggests wrongdoing. But in today's digital age, repeated proximity is enough for names to circulate together. And once the internet locks onto a pattern, attention escalates fast. 50 Cent has warned that, in his view, this is only the beginning. He has hinted that more revelations could be coming. After publicly challenging one of hip-hop's most powerful moguls, many observers believe the next chapter could involve someone just as influential. So why is 50 Cent at the center of this storm? Supporters argue it's about how he built his career. Unlike industry figures who rely on alliances and institutional backing, 50 has cultivated independence. His media ventures, business investments, and brand operate outside traditional Hollywood gatekeepers. That freedom allows him to speak aggressively, challenge the untouchable, and push boundaries others wouldn't dare approach. Throughout his career, 50 has confronted artists, executives, and powerful figures, often backing his claims with interviews, legal documents, and verifiable records, which has earned him credibility with his audience. So when he warns that even figures like Jay-Z and Beyoncé should pay attention, the public takes notice. Not because guilt has been proven, but because 50 has a track record of following through on bold claims. Whether this sparks new revelations or fuels further debate, one thing is clear: when 50 Cent speaks, the industry listens, and the internet amplifies every
Puff
word.
say this in front of a bunch of people in the studio. Me and him got into it that night. And we started snapping and joking and talking to each other. When he said about Danny the Kane, he said they gonna keep on messing with me. Or he said the word effing with me. They gonna keep on effing with me, and I'm gonna when you hear people saying this, this is crazy. This is so crazy right now, because I heard him say it. But to know that he was doing it, it's a whole nother fucking thing. It's a whole nother fucking light right now, bro. He said it. I'ma drug them out and pimp them out to my they keep with me. And he was talking about Danny the Kane as a group. He didn't single out any one of them. But to hear that he did it, that's just crazy to me. We had a big argument and we started talking about each other and what had and what he didn't have. He was calling me, yo, you broke cop. This like, you ain't got nothing I ain't got. I got a watch, you got a watch. I got a ring, you got a ring, I got a chain, I got a home. We went through that whole like that. We start talking about his teeth. You understand? I start talking about, him, his breath, everything. We was going at each other. That next day at his house, he said, yo, Gene, he called me upstairs. And he said, yo, Gene, I couldn't talk to him like that no more in front of people and everything like that. Because I know me and Puff go back from the same gang since 89, 90 when he got jumped in it. You understand? We go back way to that time. So I knew him. You understand? He was like a little nephew. So when he started talking to him, I said, yo, listen here, bro. You don't say shit about me, I won't say shit about you. If you say something, you open up your mouth about me, I'm going to talk about all your green dentures and all that like that. We're not playing them games, bro. You say, all right, Gene, cool. You understand? People don't understand, bro. The love and the power I had, not only in Harlem, Queens, I had dudes all over New York City, from the Bronx, everybody that had mad love for me because I looked out. You understand? I made sure, that people needed knowledge and information on certain things. They had a lot of people that was on parole that was in the music business. I used to save guys by letting them know their rights and what the people could and couldn't do to them. So I had a lot of genuine love from a lot of dudes. You don't be around a K. Slay for over 20-something years, a Chance Williams over 20-something years, and be some kind of sucker and was right next to him, doing all their functions, all their situations and everything like that, running security for them, making sure their people were safe in the whole 9 yards. You understand? I had my man Pete, I had people calling me, yo, look out for Nate Dogg when he come to New York. Look out for Mac 10, look out for Exhibit, doing stuff like that, Good Brothers and everything like that. So what I'm trying to say to you is that, bro, is that to be at that type of status and be that type of person and do the things that I did, you understand? I had to have people who were in that lifestyle.
Fans are now asking, could this moment reshape public trust in Hollywood's elite? Some believe the next documentary, if it arrives, could shake careers, reputations, and long-standing partnerships. Others see it as adding another layer to an already tangled story. And, of course, some predict outright industry chaos, but almost everyone agrees on one point. 50 Cent isn't done speaking. Supporters say his warning wasn't a joke or idle rumor, it was deliberate, confident, intentional. And now the conversation online is focused on one pressing question. If new footage or claims emerge, how will the industry respond? And are the figures being discussed ready for the spotlight that will inevitably follow? Only time will reveal what surfaces and what holds up under scrutiny. What do you think? Is this the start of a major shift in Hollywood, or just another wave of speculation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Until then, stay informed, stay alert, and keep watching.